All right, this is Ubaid on behalf of Electronics, and in this video, we'll learn the concept of pulling up the average total curve as well as pulling down the average total cost curve. Okay, so we talked about the average total cost as well as the marginal cost in the last video. Okay, and suppose this graph, okay, looks something like this, where this is your cost, this would be your quantity, so quantity of units produced. And let's assume that this over here, this is your average total cost or ATC. And let's assume that this is your average variable cost just underneath your ATC. Because obviously average variable cost has to do with variable cost does not cover the fixed cost, hence it's less than ATC. So this will be your average variable cost. And let's assume that your marginal cost, unlike the cost curve in the video, okay, in the last video, let's say your marginal cost looks something like a supply curve, and it intersects the average variable cost and the average total cost at this point over here. All right. Now, this point, okay, let me draw this a little more clearly. Okay, so this would be your ATC, and this is your MC. So this point over here, this is a point of transition. Okay, this is where the ATC becomes an upward sloping curve rather than a downward sloping curve, as you may observe from here to here. All right, now, right where it becomes an upward sloping curve, this is where the marginal cost is set to be dragging the average total cost curve upward. Okay, and right where the average total cost curve, let's say this is point A, and this is point B, point of transition, and this is point C. So right where the average total cost curve is a downward sloping curve, okay, between point A and B, this is where the marginal cost is set to be dragging the average total cost curve downward, okay, which basically means, okay, that your average total cost is being reduced as you produce more units, okay, because of economy of scale. Okay, however, there comes a point, and this has to do with law of diminishing marginal product. Now we've talked about this. So this is law of diminishing marginal product. So diminishing marginal product. So there comes a point where the average total cost curve starts going upward in the upward direction. All right. And this is where the average total cost is increasing, is going up. Okay. Which basically means that the cost of producing an additional unit is going up, right? Your average total cost is going up. Okay. At this point, this is your transition point. Okay, at this point, you have to decide whether you want to produce more units, whether you want to produce more, or whether you want to invest in capital before you keep producing more. Because if you do produce more, your cost is going to go up, and it's possible that the profit may turn into loss, okay, because of the cost of production. All right, so this is the concept that I was talking about earlier, marginal cost dragging the average total cost downward, where the cost of production is less and the firm will have profit. Okay, and the marginal cost dragging the average total cost curve upward in an upward sloping curve where the cost of production is going up, as a result of which the firm may experience loss. Okay, so that's it for this video. On behalf of Electronics, this is Obey. Have yourself a great day.